since we have a quorum, I will, oh, that was Alderman Rainey, perfect. We can go ahead and get started. With a quorum present, the first order of business is a motion to suspend the rules allowing for remote participation due to an executive order. Governor J.B. Pritzker. Staff recommends suspension of the rules regarding in-person attendance requirements for public meetings and allowing for city council members and city staff to participate in this meeting remotely. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, Mr. Swanbeck, we can take a roll.
Alderman Braithwaite? I don't think he's here. Alderman Rue Simmons?
Aye.
Alderman Sufferton?
Aye.
Alderman Rainey?
Aye.
Alderman Fleming?
Aye.
All right, 4-0 vote. The motion suspending the rules regarding in-person attendance passes. Our next order of business is item M1. I move approval of the minutes of the regular Administration and Public Works Committee meeting of March 8th, 2021. This is for action. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we can go ahead and vote on that.
Alderman Rue Simmons?
Aye.
Alderman Sufferton?
Aye.
Alderman Rainey?
Aye.
Alderman Fleming?
Aye.
All right, so on a 4-0 vote, the minutes of the March 8th, 2021 Administrative Public Works Committee meeting are approved. Next up is public comment. Thomas Mann, if you are available.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Yes, we can. You
Hi
have.
there. Sorry, I do not have a video. My camera gave up the ghost about a week or two ago, so I'm going to have to do this blindly, I'm afraid. So I'll introduce myself. I'm a volunteer board member, alongside a board member of Canal Shores. And I'd like to begin by expressing our great gratitude for the city of Evanston. As you probably all know, we have struggled immensely over the last couple of years trying to keep our heads above water. We seem to be making some progress here, but one of the things obviously that we're looking to do is try to find additional levers of revenue, I guess. And one of those levers, which is very consistent with golf courses in general in the area, is the amenity of alcohol and food. So what I'm speaking about is one of the motions, I think, on your agenda today, which is to approve a liquor license for Canal Shores under its own separate liquor license class for golf courses. And essentially what we're just trying to do is to try to open it up to make it feasible for us to offer this amenity to golfers and to the local community when they come in and visit our wonderful shores, I guess. And I guess what we're really trying to do is to allow golfers the ability to have a beer after they play golf, and to allow community members to come visit us at the patio at the pro shop and have a drink and relax every now and then. We have been doing this for a long time. We continue to hope to offer these kinds of services. Adult beverages, of course, are part and parcel to playing golf. And this particular amendment would allow us the flexibility to serve these kind of beverages in a way that's consistent with how the golf courses in general operate. And this, of course, allows us with that revenue to continue taking care of and shepherding and trying to steward this wonderful 40 acres here on the northeast side of Evanston. So that's my comment. I hope you will consider it and hopefully vote accordingly. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. Next up is Mike DeSilva. Mike, you've got 3 minutes.
Yeah, I have a number of comments. First question is for items A, 9, and 10. Why staff is recommending hiring a company from Cleveland, Ohio to replace a roof on an Evanston firehouse. Seems to me that's something that could be done locally with a local contractor, local employment. Second question, It's really amazing to me. Item A12, it's like Robert Brown all over again. So they send out qualifications and 13 architectural firms reply for the animal shelter, apparently some kind of schematic feasibility study. There's no mention of any cost as far as from the firms, how much the firms are asking for to do this study. The staff is just offering them $100,000, no more than $100,000. And then once they release the firm, first of all, they seem to have settled in on one firm, one of the more expensive firms normally, and say basically we'll negotiate later once we know how much the project might cost. So this is exactly what happened with Robert Brown. You hire a firm, you don't know what they're going to charge. There's going to be a big dollar value attached to the construction of the building. So money never seems to be an object for staff. Hire first, find out what it costs later. I don't know how what's a safe word to use, how ridiculous it is to do this twice. Item A14, yet another $440,000 for new vehicles, more new vehicles. Almost every meeting, there's more vehicles being bought. Why that can't wait a year, nobody knows. Last but not least, A17. We don't have enough debt of our own. We have to borrow $11 million on behalf of a private school. Why is the city of Evanston borrowing money for a private school, a school known to be a little bit, serving the elite here in Evanston? Why do we have to spend or borrow more money to support a private school? Evanston, the city of Evanston taxpayers spend a lot of money on the public school system. We shouldn't have to support the private school system too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, and you came in right at 3 minutes. You're like tuned in really well to the public comment time. I appreciate it. All right, so
My comments.
that is the end of public comment, unless there's anybody else that signed up. If not,
I actually signed up, I believe, is Ken Swanson.
all right, Ken, you're recognized for 3 minutes.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I was invited to this kind of by the Maine Dempster Merchants Association, and they're working on a, let me turn down, I get feedback here, I'm sorry. To get feedback on the proposal to make it more rapid decisions on certain types of tenants that would be, first floor tenants for fitness centers, financial institutions, and medical office primarily, and then certain classes of restaurants. And given the very difficult situation that street level retail is in Evanston and frankly across the metropolitan area, I think this is legislation that would be very much welcomed by both the tenants and the landlords and by the citizens to keep occupancy and activity at the street level retail. It's needless to say that it's been a very difficult time, and many the small businesses have gone out of business, and to have them, we need to have them replaced, and having a little bit of a simplified process for that would certainly be a good thing. So I wanted to speak in favor of that, which is on your agenda this evening or this afternoon, from my understanding.
All right, thank you, sir. Is that it, or?
That's it.
All right, well, thank you very much. All right, so with that, I believe that we have reached the conclusion of public comment. I saw Alderman Braithwaite for a moment. All the members of the committee, I'd like to know that all items are on the consent calendar. If there are any that you would like to pull, please take a look and we can do that. Otherwise, we can vote it all as one consent.
A15?
A15, okay.
What is that?
It's Clean Jobs Act. I want to make sure that it's read, the the organization advocating for it would like it to be read. So I'm pulling it because I would like to pull it at city council.
Okay.
A10 and A14.
10 and 13, okay. If there are no others,
Actually, can you pull A17 because that has been a question in the past for staff to answer a question.
okay. All right. With that,
Oh, A19, please.
sure. I move adoption of the consent calendar with the exceptions of items A10, A14, A15, A17, and A19. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Stoneback.
Alderman Braithwaite, Alderman Braithwaite, are you in favor of the consent agenda?
I said aye. Sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
Thank you. Alderman Rue Simmons,
Aye.
Alderman Sufferton,
Aye.
Alderman Rainey,
Aye.
Alderman,
Aye.
All right, so on a 5-0 vote, the consent calendar with the exception of the removed items passes. Item A10, Alderman Fleming.
So item A10.
Is that your, did you pull that one? Or, I'm
It
sorry.
is. Let me just find that. I'm sorry.
I
A10
can
is,
move it if you'd like.
no, I got it.
Okay.
A10 is the approval of emergency contract with Harlan DBS for roof improvements at Fire Station 4. Staff recommends City Council authorize City Manager execute emergency contract with DBS in the amount of $222,220. Funding will come from Capital Improvement 2021 General Obligation Bonds. This is for action.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded.
Yes, so Dave, can you just address, I had a similar question to Mr. Vasilko. I know this is an emergency, so we didn't handle it the same way, and I believe it went through the Sourcewell community contractors, something or another. But can you just address Mr. Vasilko? And then it mentioned that there's no MWEBE due to the emergency nature. Is Sourcewell the one we spoke about before that they don't have any MWEBE requirements in their sourcing?
I'd like to introduce Laura Biggs to respond to this question.
Thank you, Dave. My name is Laura Biggs. I'm the city engineer. So we've been using Sourcewell for somewhere between 8 and 10 years to do roofing contracts for the city of Evanston. It is a publicly bid community purchasing deal. And what Garland does for us is they do the engineering and architectural design. They supply all of the materials, all under specific contract guidelines that have been nationally bid. And then they actually normally bid out the local labor. They've actually worked to comply with minority women business, Evanston business goals, and with the local employment program on larger contracts. So they've been a pretty good compliance person, but because we were in a hurry, we said that we were not going to worry about minority and women businesses, but just first available businesses. I'm sorry, Alderman, you're muted.
I realize that, sorry. I realized we had this discussion about some other kind of municipal bidding that we worked with that they did not have the same requirements we had. So I wanted to see if this was the same one. So thank you. That's my only question.
All right, is there any further discussion? If not, I believe we are good to vote. Mr. Stoneback?
Alderman Braithwaite,
Aye.
Alderman Rue Simmons,
Aye.
Alderman Sufferton,
Aye.
Alderman Rainey,
Aye.
Alderman Fleming.
Aye.
All right, on a 5-0 vote, item A10 passes. Item A14, I move item A14, which is the purchase of 7 vehicles for various City of Evanston departments. Staff recommends City Council approval to purchase 7 vehicles for the Administrative Services Department, Public Works Agency, and the Police Department. The majority of vehicles being replaced are those subjected to the most wearing conditions and operations and are anticipated to require an increased cost to repair and maintain them, especially as they get closer to the end of their useful life. Funding for this purchase in the amount of $440,726 will come from the 2021 Equipment Replacement Fund with a fiscal year budget of $1.6 million and year-to-date balance of $1,264,200. Approximately $600,000 after the first round of purchases approved in November 2020. This is for action. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'm sorry, Alderman Heffernan, which one was this? I lost my sound.
This is the 7 vehicles, item A14.
Oh, yeah, I did have a question. I think I pulled this one off. So, Sean, thank you so much for answering an earlier question. If you can just explain again, I know this has been a lot of discussion around selling city vehicles. If you could just kind of briefly explain how you decide and what happens with the vehicles after we buy new ones.
Sure. Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the committee. Sean Cholick, Facilities and Fleet Manager. So what we do is we've got a system where we keep an inventory of all the vehicles that we have, and we score them according to a number of different attributes, being age, number of miles put on it, number of dollars spent on service, a whole number of different things, including idle time and wear and tear based upon the operations that the vehicle is subjected to. From there, we kind of look at what are the, we score them and we determine which ones are the most eligible for replacement. And usually that's driven by, how old the equipment is. But oftentimes it may also, depend on the actual operation that the vehicle is used for. For example, police vehicles are subject to a lot of idle time. There are also vehicles that we do not want to have them breaking down in the middle of a response. Same thing with fire, same thing with several public works vehicles. So one of the things that we do, we've taken a lot of time to repurpose older vehicles. So in the instance of police vehicles, they're easy to repurpose to other less strenuous operations within the city. So even though some of these police vehicles listed here may not appear to be that old, they basically will be replaced with a newer version that's more dependable, and then the older vehicle will be repurposed to a different purpose, like community development for inspectors or something like that. So this way we're always trying to get rid of the older equipment that's going to require more repairs and more dollars spent in repairs, and keep the newer equipment in the more strenuous circumstances.
Okay, and are any of these cars going to our public sale website, or are they all going internally?
The 4 police vehicles will go, they'll be repurposed to different use within the city. The 258, the Ford pickup, may be utilized for a little bit by Parks and Recreation during the summer, but it is pretty old and pretty worn down, so it may just be auctioned sooner than later. And then the utility vehicle 509 and 828, those two will both go for auction. They're pretty much past their useful life.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Stoneback.
Alderman Braithwaite,
Aye.
Alderman Ruth Simmons,
Aye.
Alderman Sufferton,
Aye.
Alderman Fleming, Alderman Rainey,
Aye.
Alderman Fleming.
Aye.
All right, with that, item A14 passes with a 5-0 vote. Next up, item A15, Alderman Ruth Simmons.
Thank you. A15, adoption of Resolution 38R21 in support of the passage of Clean Energy Jobs Act by the Legislature of the state of Illinois. Staff is recommending City Council adopt Resolution 38R21 in support of the passage of the Clean Energy Jobs Act by the state. I move approval.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded. Alderman Ruth Simmons, I believe you wanted to read this.
I did. I will actually read it fully at City Council, but I wanted to thank the environmental community, Citizens Greener Evanston, and all those that have been paying close attention to our natural environment and our natural assets. Thank you for your leadership and the direction that you have given City Council. We're in full support and appreciate it. I'll read it at Council though.
All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Stelmack?
Alderman Braithwaite,
Aye.
Alderman Ruth Simmons,
Aye.
Alderman Sufferton,
Aye.
Alderman Rainey,
Aye.
Alderman Fleming.
Aye.
All right, on that note, a 5-0 vote. Item A15 passes. Item A17, Alderman Fleming.
Item A17 is ordinance 26-0-21, educational facility revenue bonds for Royce Moore School. Staff recommends we approve this ordinance as introduced for purposes of final action on the 12th. The city will not incur liabilities to repay the debt in the event of default by Royce Moore. This is for introduction, and I thought worth us hearing a presentation or conversation about.
Second.
All right, it has been moved and seconded. Mr. Desai, I see you. Alderman Fleming?
Okay, so good afternoon, Chair and the members of the committee. So this is the kind of what we call a conduit debt on behalf of the Royce Moore School. Again, I would stress that that this is not a liability of city. City is not responsible in any fashion for the debt service payment. The other question which I heard when we issued the bonds in 2019 for Carroll Valley, that whether we are charging any flat fee or not for the city time. I spent time, Kate has helped and whatnot, our administrative time. So we are charging, starting with this issue, a $10,000 flat fee for our administrative staff time. And at the same time, one of those things that we have put out is like a kind of a few paragraphs of details about the conduit debt, that what is that and how it is driven. It is, again, based on the ratings of the Royce Moore School. It's not the ratings of the city of Evanston, which is affected. The debt service is the responsibility of the issuer, in this sense, Royce Moore, not the city of Evanston. We're just trying to help them to get them the favorable rates.
All
And
right.
Ash, one more clarifying question. Is this, I know you mentioned the Caravelli, is this something that cities do, at least in Illinois? Are we the only city that does this? Is this done by other people?
No, other communities, they do it too, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, are there any further questions? Seeing none? Mr. Stoneback?
Braithwaite,
Aye.
Alderman Ruth Simmons,
Aye.
Alderman Sufferton,
Aye. I apologize. I have a bad connection right now, but I'm a yes on this.
I haven't heard Alderman Rainey yet, though.
Aye. I must have a bad
Alderman-
connection too.
All right. Well,
We all do.
Aye.
Everybody vote aye.
all right. So with that, item A17 passes. Item A19, Alderman Ruth Simmons.
Sure, A19. Ordinance 25-021, amending the city code to increase the number of Class J liquor licenses from 2 to 3 for Double Clutch Brewery Company, LLC, doing business as Double Clutch Brewery Company. It's on Ashland Avenue in the 5th Ward. Staff recommends City Council adoption of this ordinance to increase the number of Class J liquor licenses. I ask for suspension of the rules and move introduction and action.
I'll second it, but I want to speak.
Yes, Alderman Rainey.
I was at this liquor commission meeting, and this organization, which I support, and I'm so happy to see that they're moving forward. However, this application was very incomplete in that they had not done their fingerprinting or any of the usual investigations that we do. And I know in the past that, you know, we wouldn't issue a license until those things were done. And the, you know, explanation was by our staff, well, you know, COVID, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just wondering, have they had that done by now? And when are they going to get it done? And I wouldn't be doing this if it were just for introduction, but now it's introduction and action. And I don't think they're ready to open, but I'm a little concerned, you know, I'm a little concerned that we're going outside, way outside the box on a liquor license. And I'm telling you, I've never met a liquor license I didn't like. And I just don't like, you know, stepping aside from the rules.
Is there, sorry.
Alderman Russoons.
I was just going to say, I mean, obviously I'm in strong support of this. I don't know the details. Of course, they need to be compliant. I can say that years ago, they came with this vision. They've worked through the process. They've had community engagement. So if you could just let us know if there's a staff person on if there are any updates with their application or.
And it wasn't their fault. I mean, they didn't say we're not going to do it. It was that our legal department said, oh, it's not a big deal. They don't have their fingerprints done. It's just that there wasn't compliance because of COVID. And I think there should be compliance. That's all. They're perfectly willing to do it. They expressed that at the meeting. We don't have legal on this meeting?
Hey, Nicholas Cummings, welcome.
Good evening, Alderman and staff. Nicholas Cummings, Deputy City Attorney. With respect to the liquor license, I have to be in contact with my colleague, Brian George, who actually administers the liquor license process. I did not speak with him about this particular application, but I can reach out to him. It's certainly within the council's prerogative if you would like to hold this in committee until the next meeting. I do see it's
No, I don't.
on action.
I don't want to hold it. I just believe that there are, you know, like we always say, liquor licenses are a privilege, and you should have your fingerprints, and the inspections should be done.
I can reach out to him and talk to him before a council meeting.
Yeah, do that. Would you please just do that? Alderman Simmons, are they ready to open?
Not quite yet. They're getting there. They're moving along.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
Can't
like
wait
to know,
though. Can't wait until we welcome our first brewery.
I'd like to know if they have their thing done. I don't want to hold this up, but I want to know that.
All right. With that, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Stoneback.
Braithwaite.
Aye.
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 I think you called my name, did you? I'm not.
Yes.
If you call my name, it's aye.
Aye.
All right. So I believe that on a 5-0 vote, we have passed item A19. Next up is items for consideration. All right. Well, I have one, and this is a longer term thing. I think that the current COVID circumstances make this impossible, but I would like us to consider some sort of touch-a-truck or similar event so people can see what these vehicles that we are purchasing are and look at them up close. I think that might help with some of the community concern that comes up when we make these purchases that are often very expensive. The vehicles are necessary for the administration of our city, and at some point, perhaps having them available to be seen might help alleviate some of the concerns that residents have about these expenses. Sean, I'm sorry to give you a vague assignment, but if you could just give some consideration to that and look at what other communities do, again, when it's healthy and safe to do that, that might be something that that would be a good idea, and it would allow people to really have a better understanding of what these things do. I watched a stump being ground on our block today, and I know that's an expensive piece of equipment, and those are the type of things that people expect and sometimes don't always give full consideration to the amount of equipment and the expense involved in those types of basic services. So
Sure,
put some
we can-
thought into that.
We can
At
do
your
that. We
leisure.
can look into that.
I'd appreciate it.
It's fun for the kids too.
I think so, yeah, and it's a good way to get people engaged and see where their tax dollars are going. So we'll think that through, and when it's safe, hopefully that's something that we could initiate. That's my only item for consideration. I don't know if anybody else has anything. Alderman Rainey.
We used to have a big truck festival every year during Public Works Month. I mean, we used to have big posters we gave away and have all the trucks out, including a fire truck or two and an ambulance, and people could climb up on them and get behind the wheel. And you're right. I mean, people actually got to touch and feel where their tax dollars were going. It was a great idea. Yep.
And then Nick, you reappeared. How are you, sir? Do you have something?
Yeah, Nicholas Cummings, Deputy City Attorney. Alderman Rainey, I did get a response from my colleague, Brian George. The code allows for the issuance of provisional licenses in the event that a background check is not available. And right now, Evanston PD and the Illinois State Police are not conducting fingerprinting for us to complete those background checks, is our understanding. So this would be a provisional license conditional on the background check being approved.
Cool. But that's planned, right? We're going to do it sooner or later.
Absolutely. As soon as it's available, it's a requirement that, the background checks be done, but we are able to issue a provisional license in the event that it's not available. And so that's the holdup on this one, is that we don't have an entity that's going to take their fingerprints in order to do a background check.
Is the FBI on vacation? Or
I don't know if the FBI is on vacation, but Evanston PD and the Illinois State Police are not doing fingerprints at the moment.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, an excellent piece of information for.
Yeah.
All
Good bank
right.
robbers and all sorts.
Yeah. Are there any items for discussion? Seeing none, I ask, are there items for communication? Further, seeing none, I ask, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. The Administration and Public Works Committee has adjourned. I believe that Planning and Development was scheduled to start at 5, so I will leave it to the discretion of the chair of that committee, but we can start at any moment with that. So with that, Administration of Public Works has concluded. Thanks, everybody.